What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic weekend or have had a fantastic weekend. In this video, we are going to be talking about some of the new LEGO Star Wars sets that are coming out, which are actually pretty exciting. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in general. I mean, the older Star Wars stuff, absolutely. The new stuff, not so much. When I got back into LEGO, I went full crazy mode on LEGO Star Wars because that was what's most available. You know, you go into a used LEGO store, there's all kinds of LEGO Star Wars stuff. But when I really started getting into it again, I'm like, the originals, the Indiana Jones, the Lego Batman, that's what I started with as a kid. So that's like what I've got the most attachment to. And don't get me wrong, the original, the older Lego Star Wars stuff too, but a lot of the new stuff I'm not so crazy on, even though I have a lot of it on the wall. But the new sets are pretty sweet. The new minifigures are really cool. And we are also going to be working on the LEGO military base because it needs some help. I've been procrastinating for too long. We've got a lot of updates to do. We've got some trenches that need to be built and some other stuff. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at the LEGO Star Wars sets first. And then if you guys want to hang out and watch me work on the military base, then we can do that. So obviously, as a disclaimer, I don't have any of these sets in hand, although a lot of them are out now. So I'm just going off pictures and what I've seen. There's been a few reviews that I've watched today of Solid Brick Studios, Brixie. They've all got some reviews out. If you want to see them in hand, this is just kind of my opinion, what I think of those videos so far. But the micro fighters, I'm super excited about. I'm not a huge micro fighter person. I do have like this one right here, the little Razor Crest, which is pretty cool because I do have the play scale Razor Crest right there. So I'm kind of excited to have also the Starfighter, which is up there, the Mandalorian Starfighter, and the little Slave One. That'll be kind of cool. I'm putting pictures up, but that'll be kind of cool to have. And the minifigures look really cool in those sets. Obviously, the Boba Fett's a little amp with that antenna piece missing, but the Mando is way better than this one. As far as, this guy? Yeah, so this one's got the black head underneath. And the new one has the actual Din head, and the helmet has printing, which looks really good. Excuse me. Also, we get the new Mandalorian sets, the spider thing, and the pirate snub fighter, which are kind of they're pretty cool. I like them. I definitely like the new Darksaber. It's not the best, but it's better than what we had. That's for sure. I think it's better than what we've been getting with that little bar. You know, that's not a blade. And then the Yavin 4 base is pretty cool. It's definitely not what I was expecting, but I don't have too much knowledge or anything like that on it. But the minifigures are cool. We're getting quite a few, and it's definitely expensive for what we're getting. I mean, you know, 5 to maybe 10 years ago, that probably would have been $100 maybe, but instead it's $170 or something like that. But it is a big set. But it does, like Solid Bricks was saying in his review, it does look a lot like the Vader's Castle, which is kind of interesting with a similar piece count and the pricing being a little more than what the Vader's was, but we're getting more minifigs. So that's kind of my thoughts on the new Star Wars sets. I know there's a lot more coming out in the future. And for this summer drop, there's more than what I talked about. But that's just kind of my rough thoughts. I'm really excited about these new minifigures that we're getting in the micro fighters and stuff like that. Also, that Bo-Katan in that spider set, that spider crab droid thing. She is a really good looking minifig, and it's also kind of cool that it keeps the minifig from the other Starfighter exclusive. So now she's kind of exclusive, although she doesn't look as good. She doesn't have the arm printing, but she is exclusive to that set, which is kind of cool because you got Gar Saxon, which is exclusive, and all of that. And that is pretty much going to wrap up the Star Wars talk. We're going to get into the military-based content right now. Alrighty, so as you can see, it is a mess right now. So I think the first thing that we need to do is, well, you can see the sun is very bright through that window. I should probably fix that. But first thing we need to do is kind of clear everything off, I think. So we're going to put the minifigs that are just miscellaneous right now. I think we're going to stack them all up, We're going to stack them all up here, align them everybody up here. I'm thinking I might want to move this. I'm not sure I like having that right there, but we'll see. So we're going to move all the minifigures, stack them all up. And then I think I might be moving this, but I'm not sure. And then we are also going to just clear everything off, get some free space, possibly move over here, move some stuff here, because we've already got some stuff over here. And then we'll go from there and see what we're thinking, what kind of room we have, and what ideas pop into my head. But I think we're going to do some kind of trench through here. Maybe, I think we're going to do trench for practice. We're not necessarily going to do it for any type of warfare tactic. They don't need it. This is a base, but we're going to do it for training purposes. So it's going to be a small one somewhere over here, I think. Because I think that's where I want training to happen, is somewhere in this quarters. Seen the last video, which I built that, which is cool, definitely check it out. But if you haven't seen it, I moved all of the Star Wars stuff that was over here, and I moved this, which was over there, over here. And I think I'm gonna put a center divider up in the middle, and then do kind of like a galactic type military build. Like, this is a modern military base, not necessarily modern, but you know what I mean. It's got real worldly type things in it, little cars, gas pumps, things like that, little barbecues, little shooting range, spot to work on your cars. Under here, I want to do basically the same thing, but spaceships and stuff like that. You can see these are not supposed to be down there, but I want it to be things like that and like this, just a more future army build, obviously, because it's all Star Wars stuff. Look at that sweet Thrawn minifigure from Classic Minifigs. Such a good view right there. Very, very good view. This is also another one from Classic Minifigs. Pretty cool. The legs and everything are different. I've swapped them over, but very nice, very nice. Let's just check these out while we're here. Why not? Very sweet. Okay, let's get back to this. So first things first, I knew that I had to get all the minifigures out of the way so that way I had a little more room to work with. Also, because I just don't want a bunch of soldiers laying around on the ground. Doesn't look very good, you know what I mean? Isn't this a satisfying view, having everybody just lined up? Let's take a minute and look at that. That is cool. So there are still a bunch more minifigures just kind of scattered around the base. This is just the minifigures. Obviously, I still have to clean up all this. But I wanted to kind of condense all of most of the random figs that were just thrown about into one spot. So these are kind of my favorite. This is some custom, just classic SAS from Call of Duty. Obviously, we got the modern, oops, knocked the truck over here. We got the modern guys right here, and more so modern. But I wanted the classic look, and that's what I went for here. And then we've got some Army Rangers, Marines back there, just some miscellaneous custom figs. Still got everything over here the same. Ooh, still zoomed in a little bit too much. But now we've got to get rid of all of this miscellaneous crap. Because I was going to build something over here, decided not to, ended up not doing it. Look at this, just all kinds of little things like that we need to go around and fix up on the military base. Little things like that. We got C4. Because if in one of the videos, if you remember, I had a big fight scene going on over here. So that's why there is some stuff just kind of torn about. There was these over here. They used to be here, but I had a fight scene with a lot of these little soldiers, and this plane was all busted up and things like that. So this is pretty cool. This little Max from the Indiana Jones set, one of the old Indiana Jones sets. This whole corner, this needs some love eventually. Eventually, I'm going to do a video on the city, on the cool little builds that I've got in there, a few custom things like that tower. And eventually that over there, that's from an Ninjago set, but I've added a lot more. It used to be a lot crazier, but I've stripped a lot of pieces off for other things, other mocks and things like that for shorts, because parts are limited, and when you order them and it takes forever to get them and they're expensive, and you order other things, it just takes a long time. That's why I've got so many different things. But let's get back, we're getting distracted, I'm sorry. Let's get back to the military base. Alrighty, so I have moved pretty much everything off, and I've moved this over there. Hopefully you can hear me over this. Actually, let's turn that down. Hopefully you can hear me better now. But I think this is going to be where we put the trenching over here. So I popped one of these plates off, and actually looking at it now, that is a little bit close to the med bay. Maybe I put this back. Actually, shoot, now I'm all confused. I'll done confuse myself. I was thinking maybe we put this there, but then I can move this up here and we could do it here. I think that's what we're gonna do actually. So we're gonna pop this around. So just like that, I was able to do it because it is on a nose plate. They just pop up, no problem. You just pop that up. So I was able to move it one further, so it is a little bit further away from the med bay. So now we're gonna figure out how to do some kind of trench, and then maybe I'll figure out some like cool posts or something and make it look like there's some cool barbed wire from Citizen Brick. I'll put a picture up. But maybe do some like barbed wire running across and make it look like kind of you go in, down a little bit, and then it slopes back up, like a trench that they might kind of crawl through for training or whatever. We could do something like that here, so I think I'm gonna work on figuring out how to start that off and try and figure that one out. I'm thinking if I clear a spot, I can put that, but sink it all the way down and then kind of build up a layer, build up a layer, build up, and kind of slope it down, and we'll see how that goes. And that's why I think it might be kind of cool. Maybe we'll leave this here so it could be like a little watch over, you know, he can be watching the base and watching training, make sure nothing crazy is happening, nobody's getting stuck or nothing like that. Because we are going to have a bunch of people crawling through it. I want to get probably 4 more, so we have 8 Marines going through training and everything like that. I will leave a link at where I get most of these, a lot of the minifigures. I'll leave a link in the comments along with everything else. Before that, you gotta leave a like and a subscribe. That's the only trade-off. I'll tell you where to get these, you leave a like and subscribe. But with that being said, let's get back to trying to figure out this trench. And if you guys have any comments or any ideas, let me know in the comments. Anything that you want to see in the military base, please let me know. This whole trench thing was all generated from your comments, which I appreciate a bunch. Super, super, super cool. So now you can kind of see where I'm going with this, and I think in order to make this look like 100%, I'm going to sacrifice this mock right here. Oops, I'm dropping pieces, but I need a lot of these pieces. So we're going to tear this apart and use a lot of these pieces. Stormtrooper, karate chopping some wood. And just like that, we have a pile of wood. I forget how much fun it is just tearing apart the build, just crushing it. But most of these little builds I intend on taking apart anyway, so I'm not really sad about it. Because like I said, the little mocks like these ones over here, I usually build them intending to take apart, except for that pirate one. I need to build a frame for it. But the other 3 that are there, I always just intend to take them apart because I do them for shorts for the YouTubes, you know? So they come apart. But we're going to use a lot of these little slopes now and try and figure out a cool way on kind of just making everything match, making it look cool, figuring out some snot techniques or whatever to add some cool little slopes and everything and just figure out this pit. Alrighty everybody, so just like that, we have built a pit. It is kind of rectangular. It is nothing like what I originally was talking about. I know we were talking about doing something with barbed wire, but this is actually just going to be more so of an Easter egg, I guess. If you're looking and you see what the Easter egg is, then let me know in the comments. But it is this. Thor's hammer. Yep. So I'm not really sure what I was going for. Originally it was something to put barbed wire over, and then it just kind of turned into making this cool looking pit. I mean, it is fairly deep compared to a minifigure. I mean, let's grab a minifigure right here and throw one in. So if you were looking at it from, let's see, from stud height, it's about his legs. So, I mean, he's about leg deep in there. But it is pretty cool. You can just walk up and grab the hammer out of there. It's kind of just sat in there using some different little wedge pieces. It just kind of sits in there. But I think it's pretty cool. It turned out a lot different than what we were going for, but you know, it works. Here, that's a little bit more fitting. Put that super cool detailed with that arm printing Thor in there with his hammer. That's a bit more fitting. There we go. All right, everybody. So like that, we're going to wrap up the video. I hope you have enjoyed your time here. I appreciate you stopping by. Next video I'm shooting for is going to be on Wednesday, or not, it's going to film it Wednesday, hopefully, and have it up Thursday. But it is going to be a absolute freaking awesome one. It's going to be all Batman related stuff. I've got, my opinion, it's my favorite 2006 Lego Batman set. I think it's one of the coolest. It's got the biggest variety of minifigures that you could ask for. I've got the newer one on the shelf, and if you know what that is, then you already know. But the Batcave update is going to be sick. I'm super excited for it. So make sure you have your notifications on, subscribe. You're not going to want to miss that video. And like that, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time here, and I never know how to end this, so peace. One last thing, I forgot, we're really close to 2,000 subscribers. When we hit 2K, I'm gonna do a giveaway somehow. I gotta figure out how, but I think it's going to be the larger Guardians of the Galaxy set. I know it's gonna be a lot of shit, but I really appreciate you guys, and I wanna figure out how to do a giveaway somehow, and I think that's what we're gonna do. With that being said, now we're gonna wrap up. God bless, I appreciate you guys, have a good one.